prophet, psychic, coming back at you with another video. Okay, people, what I'm going to talk about today is probably the most controversial, passionate topic in tennis, definitely the last 12 or so years. It is how big of a stain is the head-to-head record of Federer versus Nadal. How big of a stain is it on Federer's legacy? Now, I told y'all yesterday that the head-to-head measurement, I don't care if it's for Federer's legacy or Nadal's legacy or anybody's legacy, that's not a good measurement for the greatest of all time. But it can be a stain on someone's legacy, though. So, how big of a stain is it on Federer's legacy? Now, of course, Federer has already beaten Nadal like 5 to 6 consecutive times. He's beat him 4 consecutive times just this year alone. So that really has helped out. That's really helped decrease the stain on Federer's legacy. So let me answer the question. Okay, how big of a stain is it on Federer's legacy right now? I would say, to be honest about it, the fact that, okay, they're playing, the funny thing about it, I'm going to get back to that question in a second. They have only played each other 38 times. That's really not a lot. I mean, so the record, what's the record? Is 23-15 in Nadal's favor, and most of those wins now is most of those wins are on the clay surfaces. Actually, Federer is actually if you take and eliminate the clay, Federer is actually leading Nadal by a couple matches on the non-clay surfaces. But let me just get back to the question here. How big of a stain is it on Federer's legacy? I'm going to be honest with people. Right now, considering Federer has beaten Nadal, 4 consecutive times this year alone, and plus, man, it's looking like Federer, at least on non-clay surfaces, he may continue to beat Nadal. So, I mean, we have to see that. But right now, I would say it's a little stain. It's a stain. I would say it's a little stain. Let me tell you why I'm not even saying it's a big stain. Because, see, let me just say something. Federer losing against Nadal, what bothered me about it, I was bothered by it, but what bothered me was not that he was actually losing, because you can always have bad matchups, man. Muhammad Ali, who was considered arguably to be the at least the top 2 between him and Sugar Ray Robinson, best boxers of all time. There was a guy named Ken Norton that gave Muhammad Ali a hard time. He beat Ali the first time. Ali barely beat him the second time. And people think the third time they gave it to Ali, but they think Ali lost the match. So there's always been matchups. You can look at college basketball, pro football, college football. I don't care, any sport. There's always what you call bad matchups. And Nadal, for a long time, was a bad matchup for Federer. But here was the thing about that bad matchup. The reason why I'm saying it's not a really bad stain right now, it ain't that Federer is beating Nadal. He's figured out, he's free of Nadal. So what bothered me in the past, like I was saying, was that it was why was Federer losing. So he solved the why. He no longer have a mental blockage. So I don't really care about the overall head-to-head now. And I think Federer and Nadal, I don't think Nadal cares about the head-to-head in the past. I think he wants to know, Federer is beating my behind now. And I think Federer, he don't care about the head-to-head in the past. Federer is saying, I'm beating Nadal's behind now. I got his number now. He had my number, but I got his number. So, like I said before, is it a big stain? Nope. I think it's a little stain on Federer's record now. And remember I told y'all, that head-to-head thing, even if Federer beat Nadal 20 consecutive times, that ain't why Federer is greater than Nadal. And if Federer beat Nadal 10 consecutive times, and Nadal ends up with 25 majors, and Federer ends up with only 20 or 19, then Nadal would be the greater player then. So this head-to-head stuff, they have totally taken that way out of proportion as far as trying to make it an indicator for the greatest of all time. Okay, people, that's the Magic Man, tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, signing off. Have a nice day, people.
What?